On the way to the market, my shoe broke. Conveniently, there was a shoe store nearby. I knew this store, the shoes inside were quite expensive. Although Zhao Yanting is now the CEO of a company, I know how hard he works for his money and can't bring myself to spend thousands on a pair of shoes. I was thinking of just buying a pair of cheap shoes from a nearby stall when I heard a familiar, coquettish voice. I couldn't help but look up. It was Zhao Yanting's secretary, Yu Jingjing. At that moment, Yu Jingjing was holding my husband's arm, and he was carrying several luxury brand bags. Seeing me, Zhao Yanting froze, his eyes filled with disdain. Of course, compared to the glamorous Yu Jingjing in her 10-centimeter heels, I looked like a dowdy housewife. Yu Jingjing noticed me too. She glanced at Zhao Yanting, and seeing that he had no intention of explaining, she smugly raised her chin and looked at me. "A ting, I'll wait for you in the car." With that, she swayed her hips and left. Zhao Yanting took a deep breath before walking over to me. Seeing the groceries I was carrying from the market, his face was full of disgust. "Can't you pay attention to your appearance? I don't want people to know that my wife is such a dowdy housewife." Housewife? Hearing those words, my mind went blank, as if I had been slapped repeatedly. All these years, I've worked tirelessly to take care of this family. Zhao Yanting didn't like how the maid cleaned, so I quit my job to become a housewife. He thought restaurant food was unsanitary, so I went to the market every morning to buy the freshest ingredients. I poured my heart and soul into this family, only to be called a dowdy housewife. Not wanting to keep Yu Jingjing waiting, Zhao Yanting threw me 200 yuan to take a taxi home. Clutching the money, I walked home in a daze. When I got home and saw my son Zhao Jin, the feeling of injustice overwhelmed me. Zhao Jin was video chatting with a friend and accidentally caught me on camera. He impatiently said, "That's our maid, not my mom." Then he glared at me and stormed back to his room. My husband's betrayal and my son's disdain were the final straws. I didn't cook as usual but curled up on the couch, reflecting on the past years. I wondered if my constant giving had made them take me for granted. Before I could figure it out, Zhao Yanting came home. Seeing the empty dining table, his face was full of displeasure. "If you don't even cook, what's your worth?" At that moment, my son came out of his room, complaining of hunger. Seeing that I hadn't cooked, he threw a tantrum. "Come on, son, let's go to a Western restaurant." "Yay! Let's invite Sister Jingjing too. She's so pretty, it's impressive to go out with her." Hearing their conversation, I made up my mind to get a divorce. "If you walk out that door today, we're done." Zhao Yanting sneered at my words, his expression saying I was a useless woman who couldn't leave him. Zhao Jin didn't care either, pulling his father's sleeve, eager to leave. I took a deep breath, wiped my tears, and called my lawyer. Since they didn't love me, why should I hold on? "Hello, Lawyer Yang, please prepare a divorce agreement for me. Also calculate how much Zhao Yanting has spent on other women and reclaim it. I don't want custody of my son either." "Zhao Yanting, Zhao Jin, if you long for so-called freedom, I'll grant it to you." Early the next morning, Lawyer Yang arrived with the divorce agreement. I asked the maid to call Zhao Yanting downstairs. Hearing that I wanted to reclaim what he had given to Yu Jingjing, Zhao Yanting immediately protested. "Fuji, it's my money. Why can't I spend it? You can spend it on yourself and our son, but not on another woman. That's illegal, and you'll have to give it back." I crossed my legs, ignoring the pain in my heart, and for the first time, spoke harshly to him. In the past, it wasn't an act. I cared, so I restrained my temper. I always believed in setting a good example for our son, so I never used foul language. But now, I've seen through it all. I just want to live freely. After the divorce, I want to start enjoying life. To hell with love, it's all a lie. "Fuji, are you out of your mind? It's my money. What's wrong with giving gifts? Mr. Zhao, according to the marriage law, any joint property given to others during the marriage must be agreed upon by both parties. Otherwise, the other party has the right to reclaim it. Lawyer Yang couldn't stand it anymore and interrupted, pushing the divorce agreement forward. Zhao Yanting, furious, nodded. Fine, I'll see you in court. You won't get a penny. I'll hire a lawyer too. I sighed, took a stack of photos from my file, and threw them in front of him. You cheated. You're at fault. I also have evidence of you transferring assets during the marriage. You investigated me? Zhao Yanting's eyes widened in anger, and he threw a teacup at me. I didn't dodge, letting the cup shatter on my head, blood instantly flowing. Miss Fu. Lawyer Yang was alarmed and tried to press my wound with his sleeve, but I stopped him. I stared at Zhao Yanting, making him uneasy. This isn't investigating, it's collecting evidence. What you just did can be considered assault. That teacup shattered any remaining feelings I had for him. Now, I only felt it wasn't worth it. Our argument had woken our son, who came downstairs in his fuzzy slippers and immediately stood in front of Zhao Yanting. Mom, how can you slander Dad like this? No wonder people say jealous women are the worst. He defended his father, ignoring the blood on my face. I resisted the urge to scold my son, coldly nodding. Yes, I'm terrible, petty and narrow-minded. You've put up with me for 13 years. Now you don't have to. Sign the agreement and you'll be free. Zhao Jin stubbornly looked at me for a moment, then turned to his father. Dad, just sign it. Give her what she wants. We can always make more money. Sister Jingjing isn't materialistic. We'll leave her to regret it alone. Zhao Yanting, already wavering, agreed with his son's support. All right, Dad will sign. Watching Zhao Yanting sign so readily, I wanted to laugh. Yu Jingjing isn't materialistic. If she weren't, would she have asked Zhao Yanting to buy her a villa and a $50,000 car? When I saw her the other day, she was decked out in designer brands. Zhao Yanting and Zhao Jin are too naive. No, they're just stupid. It's good they signed. I was in a hurry to get Lawyer Yang to handle the divorce because of Yu Jingjing. I've met countless people in my life, and one look at her told me she was trouble. If I didn't get Zhao Yanting to sign quickly, who knows how much more trouble she'd cause. After signing, Zhao Yanting threw the pen on the coffee table. Fuji, I admit you've taken good care of me and our son all these years, but don't you think you've failed in life? Your mother abandoned you, you have no friends, and now even your son doesn't want you. Yet you still act so high and mighty. With that, he smugly took our son upstairs to pack, leaving me to stare at his back, feeling like my heart was being torn apart. My parents are a source of eternal pain and resentment for me. When I was 4, my parents divorced, and neither wanted me. I was eventually given to my mother. After my father left, he disappeared from my life. My mother, using work as an excuse, left me with my only grandmother and also vanished. My grandmother and I survived on government assistance until I was 10, when she passed away after a fall. I was then sent to an orphanage. Being small and weak, I was often bullied there. My childhood was far from happy, and Zhao Yanting knew this. I had been honest with him about everything from the start of our relationship. I never expected my honesty to become a weapon for him to stab me with. Lawyer Yang looked at me with sympathy, having packed up all the documents. I forced a smile. Thank you for coming today. Please expedite the process of reclaiming the money from Yu Jingjing. Of course, Miss Fu. As he was about to leave, Lawyer Yang hesitated. Miss Fu, shouldn't you get your wound treated at the hospital? I shook my head, feeling a pang of sadness that a stranger cared more about me than my own husband and son. After Lawyer Yang left, I went to the bathroom to wash my face. The wound had already clotted and the blood on my face had dried. There was no need to go to the hospital. I cleaned myself up, changed clothes, and went upstairs. Opening the door, I saw Zhao Yanting packing his custom suits and watches in the walk-in closet. Glancing to the side, I saw my son doing the same, trying to take everything. I didn't stop them from taking these things. Even if sold, they wouldn't amount to more than 2 million. I went straight to the safe, which contained a set of gold art pieces worth millions. There was no way I would let him take those. Seeing me change the safe's password and remove his fingerprints, Zhao Yanting's face changed. That gold set is mine. Zhao Yanting, do you know what leaving with nothing means? Not just the gold set, but even the watches you're taking. I could stop you from taking them if I wanted. Zhao Yanting fell silent. Today, I showed him a side of me he had never seen before, cold and unyielding. He was actually a bit afraid of this version of me. I didn't expect him to call you Jingjing for help instead of a moving company. They argued over the phone, with Zhao Yanting trying to appease her while glaring at me. I was speechless at his behavior. When Yu Jingjing arrived, her first words were, "The divorce agreement? It's unacceptable. Redo it." Why? I looked at this arrogant woman and sneered. Who are you to say that? The mistress? Yu Jingjing's face twisted with anger as she glared at me. With Yu Jingjing around, Zhao Yanting lost his mind. He pointed at me, his tone hostile. Fuji, how can you be so uncivilized? I scoffed. Oh, you two are so civilized. One seduces a married man, and the other cheats without shame. Fuji, stop bringing up the cheating. If I went to someone else, it's because of you. What twisted logic is this? The man I once loved now felt like a stranger. Was this the Zhao Yanting I fell for? How blind was I? Enough. Yu Jingjing stopped Zhao Yanting, looking at him with obvious disdain. But Zhao Yanting, blinded by her, couldn't see her true nature. Yu Jingjing clenched her fists, struggling to control her anger. She had rushed over as soon as she learned Zhao Yanting agreed to leave with nothing. She had worked hard for his money, not for love. None of that matters. But as a person, you shouldn't treat your husband and child like this. Your son will be with a Ting. How will they live if you take everything? Oh. I raised an eyebrow. What do you suggest I do? Yu Jingjing's eyes gleamed. You should give a Ting all the houses, cars, money, and stocks. The company he built belongs to him. I clapped. What a shameless plan. Zhao Yanting's company wouldn't exist without my help. Fresh out of college, I helped him network and find clients. Without my efforts, those deals wouldn't have come through. Without me waiting in the cold for hours, no one would have signed with a new company. Zhao Yanting forgot all this, but I didn't. Yu Jingjing looked increasingly smug, thinking I agreed. Idiot. Her smile froze. What did you say? I said you're an idiot. I'll not only make them leave with nothing, but I'll also sue you both. I'll reclaim every penny spent on you and every asset transferred during the marriage. Yu Jingjing's face darkened, but she made a last-ditch effort. Aren't you afraid your son won't acknowledge you? He already said he wouldn't. So you can raise him. He'll definitely acknowledge you. Yu Jingjing was speechless, realizing she was dealing with two fools. I was tired of arguing and decided to end it. It's settled. If you're done packing, leave. Or I'll call security. Yu Jingjing sneered. Fine, we'll see. She angrily told Zhao Yanting to move their things downstairs. To speed up their departure, I called security to help. For the first time in years, I felt a sense of peace. I lay on the bed but couldn't sleep. Maybe it was the bed. I moved to the guest room and slept soundly. The next morning, I instructed my assistant to sell all my properties, including the one I was living in. I wanted to prevent them from coming back to harass me. I'm not a heartless person. I could make tough decisions when they were unkind, but if they came back begging, I might weaken. So the best solution was to change all my addresses. Besides, I had too many properties, all bought during vacations with Zhao Yanting and our son. They were picky about hotels, so we bought houses instead. I also had someone investigate Yu Jingjing. Her look before leaving was like a predator's. I hired a professional manager to handle my company shares. I owned shares in Zhao Yanting's company. I planned to sell them to his biggest rival. I wanted to disgust Zhao Yanting. Without him and Zhao Jin, I wanted to enjoy my life. I planned to vacation in Bali and then relax by Air Hai Lake. After handling the company matters, I packed my documents and luggage and left. 3 days later, I received all the information on Yu Jingjing. Her family background was poor. Her father was an alcoholic who abused her. Her college degree was fake. She had been expelled in middle school for fighting. She had been working odd jobs since her teens, never holding a steady job. She had even been jailed for theft. After reading the brief report, I sighed. Love goddess? What a joke. 10 days later, while admiring the Louvre, I received a message from lawyer Yang. All the assets transferred by Zhao Yanting during the marriage had been reclaimed. Yu Jingjing's house and car were seized, but the money was gone, spent by her. Zhao Yanting sold his luxury items but still couldn't cover the debt. I told lawyer Yang to stop. They wouldn't last long with what they had left. I didn't want to push them too far. A month later, while at Air Hai Lake, I met a cheerful college student. His sunny smile was hard to resist. After graduation, many wealthy suitors had pursued me, but I remained loyal to Zhao Yanting. I believed in faithful love and didn't want to harm my family. But while I stayed loyal, others didn't, like Zhao Yanting. The boy's eyes were clear and straightforward. He offered 3,000 for a night. I agreed, and we spent the night playing video games. After he left, I told my assistant. This is living. My assistant was silent for a moment. Boss, if you don't come back soon, you're safe and you will be homeless. I sat up, almost forgetting. Buy me a secure place to store my things. My assistant muttered. Damn capitalists. I raised an eyebrow. What did you say? I raised my voice, and she flinched. I said enjoy your vacation, boss. I'll find a place right away. Goodbye. She hung up quickly. I lay back laughing. Living differently wasn't so bad. Good times always end too soon. The day I returned, Zhao Jin was waiting outside my office. I looked up at the 12-story building, wondering if I needed to move my company too. Mom, why did you sell all the houses? Do you know how long I've been looking for you? Zhao Jin had lost weight and looked tanned. He was still wearing the Chanel I bought him, but it was dirty. Do you need something? My cold tone stunned him, and tears filled his eyes. Mom, don't be mad at Dad and me. We know we were wrong. Yu Jingjing tricked us. I raised my hand to stop him. Your problems with Yu Jingjing aren't my concern. Report her to the police. Mom, I'm your son. You used to love me the most. How can you abandon us? Zhao Jin hugged my waist, crying harder. Now he remembered I was his mom, that I loved him. But their words from a month ago still echoed in my mind. One called me disgusting, the other said he hated me. I pushed Zhao Jin away, holding his shoulders to keep him from clinging to me. Zhao Jin, I've paid your child support. I've fulfilled my legal obligations. But $5,000 a month isn't enough. Mom, you can't abandon us. Dad's company is struggling. Don't you care? Why should I care for them when no one cared for me? $5,000 was already generous. Many families didn't earn that much in a month. Don't come looking for me again. I pushed him away, my face cold. I walked into the building and went straight to the top floor. Feeling a bit guilty, I looked out the window. Zhao Jin was gone. As I turned back to my desk, I saw Zhao Yanting being slapped by a woman. It looked like Yu Jingjing. Poverty had strained their relationship. With his accounts empty and the company failing, Yu Jingjing had lost patience. She pushed him away and stormed out, glaring at me as she passed. After she left, I glanced at Zhao Yanting, who was throwing a tantrum in his office. I had planned to discuss the company shares with him, but he wasn't in the right state. I left the office. Outside, I saw Zhao Jin approaching Yu Jingjing in the parking lot. She was still angry and pushed him away. It pained me to see my son treated like this. I made a call I hadn't made in years. Zhao Yanting said I had no friends, but he was wrong. I had close friends he never met, fearing he'd be intimidated. Though I hadn't contacted them, I always sent help when they needed it. They knew I still cared about them. Women's friendships aren't always spoken aloud. A few days later, I received news. Yu Jingjing had been ambushed, beaten badly, and hospitalized. Zhao Yanting came to borrow money for her medical bills. I didn't see him. My assistant sent him away with one word. Leave. Zhao Yanting called me heartless, only to be doused with hot coffee by a colleague who had a crush on me. Heartless? Everyone here knows how well Miss Fu treated you. You cheated and now you want to borrow money? How shameless can you be? With that, other colleagues joined in, mocking him. Zhao Yanting, never having faced such humiliation, shouted back, threatening to fire them. But as the major shareholder, I had the final say, not him. Desperate to pay Yu Jingjing's medical bills, Zhao Yanting borrowed from loan sharks. When the loan sharks came to collect, they threatened to break his leg. With no other options, he came to me crying. Out of past sentiment, I agreed to help. On one condition, he had to sell me all his shares. With the company on the brink of bankruptcy and no desire to continue, he agreed. After my vacation, I returned to work, throwing myself into it like I did when I first graduated. I didn't want to make money, but I had employees to support. One day, a young client insisted on discussing business at a bar. As we sat down, the bar manager brought in 7 or 8 girls. Seeing Yu Jingjing among them, I was momentarily stunned. Had she fallen so low as to work as a hostess? Yu Jingjing's face turned pale when she saw me. The client, a greasy middle-aged man, grinned at the sight of the young girls. Miss Fu, would you like some company? Feigning nonchalance, I pointed at Yu Jingjing. Her! The client gave me a knowing look. Didn't expect that from you, Miss Fu. Yu Jingjing, shocked, refused to come over. The manager kept pushing her, but she stood her ground. What's this? No respect for me? The client fumed, feeling slighted. Working here and acting like a saint. Someone strip her. Terrified, Yu Jingjing ran to me, seeking refuge. I wasn't a saint. I looked at the manager and said coldly. Didn't you hear, Mr. Li? Strip her. Realizing no one would save her, Yu Jingjing collapsed to the floor. Yu Jingjing kidnapped Zhao Yanting and Zhao Jin. When I first got her call, I didn't believe it. But my assistant confirmed that Yu Jingjing had accumulated significant gambling debts, leading her to work as a hostess. I was furious. She could kidnap Zhao Yanting, but Zhao Jin was still my son. Despite his hurtful words, I couldn't tolerate anyone harming him. Yu Jingjing demanded 2 million in cash and warned me not to call the police. Ignoring her, I signaled my friends to alert the authorities. Fortunately, I had sold my properties, making it easier to gather the money quickly. Yu Jingjing, perhaps inspired by spy movies, had me drive around the city with the money, switching to an old phone midway. What a lunatic. Finally exhausted, I reached the final location, a dock. There were many large ships. As I walked past them, a flashlight beam hit my face. Instinctively shielding my eyes, someone snatched the suitcase from me. I turned to see a figure disappear into a ship's cabin. The boy holding the flashlight, a young fisherman, pointed to a large steel ship. "She's there," he said before running off. Without hesitation, I boarded the ship. Inside, the cabin was lit but empty, except for Zhao Yanting and Zhao Jin, tied to chairs, bruised and gagged. Seeing me, they cried and struggled, their eyes filled with fear. "Do you know why I let you in after getting the money?" Yu Jingjing, holding a baseball bat, circled me, her eyes gleaming with malice. Trying to scare me? After years in the business world, I'd seen worse. I sneered. "Release my son now, and I'll go easy on you. You're bluffing." She spat, swinging the bat at me. I dodged and kicked her in the side, sending her sprawling. Squatting beside her, I taunted. "Idiot. I've trained in martial arts. You picked the wrong fight." She glared at me, unable to get up. I had trained in Sanda since high school, targeting weak points. A kick to the side, where there's no bone and vital organs, was enough to incapacitate her. Regretting my restraint, I realized I couldn't continue beating her. I provoked her instead. "Get up, you coward. Weren't you tough just now? Pathetic. I preferred your arrogant self." Turning my back, I walked towards my son, leaving myself exposed. Predictably, she grabbed the bat and swung at me. I ducked and swept her legs, pinning her down and punching her repeatedly. The police arrived just as I felt satisfied. "Mom." I was about to leave, but Zhao Jin, freed from his bonds, ran to me. I stood there, unsure whether to hug him back. "Mom, I was so scared. Please hold me. I realize now you're the best person in the world. I was blind before." Sighing, I hugged him. I was scared too, afraid of losing my precious son. Blood is thicker than water, it's not easy to let go. Zhao Yanting approached timidly, calling our son. "Zhao Jin." Our son turned, glaring at him, and pushed him away, shouting to the police. "Officer, he's an accomplice. He tied me up for Yu Jingjing." Zhao Yanting, terrified, couldn't deny it. I knew Zhao Jin wouldn't falsely accuse his father. He had always idolized him, easily influenced by him. Zhao Yanting's betrayal shattered Zhao Jin's faith, leaving him in tears. I shielded my son, blocking his view. Coldly, I asked Zhao Yanting. "Is it true? Did you hand our son over to her?" He grabbed my pants, pleading. "Honey, let me explain. Yu Jingjing forced me." I kicked him away, filled with disappointment and anger. How could he call himself a father? The police, understanding the situation, handcuffed him. He screamed. "Honey, save me. I can't go to jail." Blaming me, he shouted. "Fuji, it's your fault. If you had helped, I wouldn't be here." I stared at him, silent. As they took him away, I hugged my son, comforting him. "Don't worry. Mom's here." He sobbed. "Mom, do you forgive me?" Smiling, I said. "We'll see. Mom's heart is soft." The police asked if I wanted to write a letter of forgiveness for Zhao Yanting. I asked my son, who coldly refused. No. I don't want a father like him. Later, Yu Jingjing was sentenced to 10 years, and Zhao Yanting to 6. Since then, Zhao Jin matured, never arguing with me and correcting his views. He never mentioned Zhao Yanting but often bragged about me being his hero. My friends visited, adopting Zhao Jin as their godson. He was thrilled. I have 5 moms. I'm the luckiest person in the world. We all laughed. Life seemed different yet the same, moving forward with hope.